This is a Windows Phone 7 game review of the Oregon Trail HD, which is an Xbox Live title and available in the marketplace for $4.99. The Oregon Trail is a classic game that some people might remember from their childhood, depending on how old they were. Like, I'm 18 years old, and I used to play this in, like, 2nd grade. It was a really popular computer game where you'd travel from the east of the United States to the west, going through the Mississippi River and other rivers like that, traveling with your cattle and your family and trying to make it all the way to the gold rush. So there's the single player mode, and there is a little instant play mode, but the heart of the game is in the story mode here, which will last about 3 or 4 hours depending on how fast you go through it and how many of the little side missions you play. And so you are shown with how many members you have. You have 5 people in your family. You have yourself, your wife, and 3 kids. And those kids can actually die, and your wife can die depending on how well you play the game. And sometimes in the game you'll get to talk to people on the side of the road, like this guy tells you about an investing opportunity, and if you meet him at the parting of the ways, he'll tell you about it. So those add to your quests there. And then you continue on the trail here. So you can take 2 different paths. We're going to take parting of the ways here. So sometimes the map does split up there and you actually have to make decisions. Other times you'll come to rivers and things like that, and you have to decide how you want to cross the river. So here's the game. You have your map here, and you start off right here, and you make it through some towns, and as you see there's some rivers that you have to cross, other rivers there, and other hazards that you have to make it through. And you can make your people rest for like a day or 3 days, which can improve your health. Or if someone gets a broken leg, that'll heal their broken leg and stuff like that. But that'll also use up some of your food, so you have to be smart with that. You can check out your quests and also the status. So here you've traveled 855 miles. Everyone's health is fair, so not the best, but pretty decent. And you have 5 of 5 members, so that's good. So to get moving, you can set your pace here, which can be a fast pace, but then that damages the wagon more. A medium pace, which is pretty average, takes up an average amount of food and puts an average strain on the wagon, or really slow. And wow, we got struck by lightning. So as you can see, there are some random things like that that will happen and it can damage you. Or even an eagle can fly down and take away one of your kids. So when your wagon gets damaged, you have to play this little mini game where you just hammer in nails back onto the wagon. And these mini games are pretty fun. The graphics are actually pretty good in this. There's been some times when the graphics really fell down. For example, when it was in snow, the frame rate completely dropped and the game was really laggy. And sometimes clicking on the screen isn't that responsive here, especially in the berry picking game, which you might see later. But overall, these little mini games really help carry the game through, and they're pretty fun. They also have mini games for hunting and fishing and panning for gold. And it gives you some neat little tips here, like keep your matches in bottles so that they don't get wet when you cross over rivers. None of that actually comes into play in the game. It's just kind of tips for as if you actually took this route yourself. But they're fun facts nonetheless. So we just arrived at the parting of the ways, and here's that guy that we talked to before. So he's talking about the Transcontinental Railroad, which is a big part of America's history here. And now we can take 3 different paths. We will take this one. So overall, the Oregon Trail is a pretty decent replica of the original game. However, it's not the best because it really lacks some of the elements that the game used to have. Like, you used to actually have to buy a flour and buy bullets and ration your bullets and ration your food a lot more than you have to now. Now it's just like kind of go shooting or pick berries and you'll get food. So this is what I was talking about before. The responsiveness of this game is kind of bad for some reason. It's like the Windows Phone 7 touchscreen isn't working that well. Although Windows Phone is really responsive with its touchscreens, at least the HD7 is. So for some reason it doesn't understand the taps that well. And that was the first thing I noticed about this game especially. But if you're looking for a decent game that does have some challenging aspects to it, it's not really challenging, but it also teaches you some history about the Old West and how people traveled there. This is a pretty fun game. It's not nearly as in-depth as the original computer game, but it's definitely fun to pick up and play here. And plenty of things happen in the game to keep it interesting. You can also play through different seasons, like winter, summer, or spring, which all affect how you can travel, because sometimes the snow will like slow down your people or it could affect your health, and sometimes the summer you have to look out for the heat and things like that. And you can also play as 3 different little career people here, like I know one is a banker and this one is the carpenter that I'm playing as. And that changes how well you can repair your wagon and things like that. So that adds to the replayability of the game. And you can also play with different wagons too. Some wagons are better at floating across a river, other wagons are just built stronger, and other wagons are cheaper so that you start off with more money. Here's the fishing game. So you just gotta collect some fish. Gotta get that big one. Aw, man. So if you liked Oregon Trail as a kid, you might want to check out Oregon Trail HD in the marketplace for $4.99. Subscribe to WM Power Users for more reviews.